Hello, my nasties. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have, of course, another episode of Sketchy Saturday. For those of you who are fresh meat and have no idea what a Sketchy Saturday is, the quick rundown is I open a sketchbook, I render an illustration, and I chat over it. That's the gist of it. Nothing more than that. And today what I am doing is I'm going to be answering a couple of questions from YouTube subscribers. Usually I tend to focus on Patreon subscriber questions, but today I'm opening the floor up to YouTube. So we're going to jump right into it. Everything you need to know will always be down below, links and or names to the supplies, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of that in the description box. So today is going to be a bit of a long one because both of these questions are multi-parters, and I do have my little my sticky note here with my bullet notes, so I don't script my videos extensively at all. I literally just have bullet notes. So this could be a 10-minute video, this could be a 45-minute video. We shall see, because your girl does like to talk. So without further ado, didn't I already say something to that effect? Anyways, Brooke, we are going to be answering Brooke's question first, and she asks, what are my 5 tips for budding graphic designers? Now, to be honest, this question can actually be applied to various creative careers, not necessarily just freelance graphic design, but illustrators, painters, animator, anybody who works in a creative field. There are little tidbits here and there that you can glean from what I'm going to say that you can apply to your daily life. Now, I am not one to give advice, okay? Don't take my word as gospel, but everything that I am saying comes from experience, because I did spend many years as a graphic designer. Many years is relative, right? But it felt like many years to me, especially towards the end there. But I have since stopped doing freelance graphic design for the most part. Every once in a while I do work a little bit with older clients that I have, but 99% of what I do now is for myself. It's my website, my shop, my brands, all of that sort of thing. So Brooke wants my 5 tips for budding graphic designers. Number 1, and again, this one especially is going to work for many careers that are creative. Learn as much as you can for free. There is such a wealth of information online, tutorials, how-to guides, etc., that are free. It is unbelievable. I actually have learned far more by trial and error and playing with my design programs on my own time, watching tutorials, than I ever did in school. Facts. That is a fact. And honestly, I am still learning new skills and tips regularly. And if I really wanted to, I could spend hours every single day poring over tutorials online. So it is a never-ending learning process when you are embarking on a creative career. The technology is ever-changing. The techniques are ever-changing. It's a big old thing. Having a college degree is cute, but the truth is that when you are entering into creative fields, a piece of paper is worth absolutely nothing if you do not have the talent and skills to back it up. Employers and potential clients are very well aware of this. Anyone can earn an art degree. An objectively terrible artist can earn an A in all of their art classes just as easily as a prodigy can. It's just the nature of an art degree. No one is going to fail you for being a quote-unquote bad artist. As long as you do the work, you're going to pass. So what matters to a client is what you and your creative mind can do for them, not that silly little piece of paper with your name on it. Personally, I would hire someone with 0 degree and 0 experience if they exhibited talent and a willingness to take direction. Number 2, all I wrote for number 2 was cheap asses, okay? Be prepared to run into many cheap asses out there. And it's a slippery slope because you're going to run into a lot of them, especially these days. Pre-pandemic world, everything is, going belly up, and it's tough out there, okay? And it's a slippery slope because if you are consistently being told that as a graphic designer you are supposed to be charging X number of dollars per hour, per project, and yet you are continually being offered peanuts by clients and other businesses that would like to hire you. It's just the nature of the beast. That's the way that it goes. And you are going to have to learn that what they are offering you is not necessarily what you are worth. And what I mean by that is that if they're offering you minimum wage for graphic design, no, you are not worth minimum wage. This is a skill, okay? And so you deserve more. But you can fall into the trap of thinking, well, oh my God, if all of these jobs are offering me $13, $15 an hour, well, shit, I should accept that. I should take it. That's what I'm worth. No. It's just the world we live in, and everybody's out to step on everybody else most of the time. So do not let a cheap ass dictate and poison your mind about what you are worth as a creative. Not everyone can do what you do, okay? So just remember that. It's tough out there, but it's not impossible. You are going to spend a lot of time searching for those golden clients, but when you find one, they are worth their weight in gold. Keep them around as long as you can, and occasionally bend over backwards for them as well. I'm not saying allow people to take advantage of you, but if people treat you well, go above and beyond for them. It's worth it, and it's mutually beneficial. Now, before we move on to the next point, I just want to say I hope that what I'm saying is not coming across as too discouraging. It's just that graphic design life, illustrator life, all of that, especially as a freelancer, it's such a saturated field out there, and that's just the reality. And I am not one to sugarcoat. I speak from experience, and when I tell you that it's difficult out there, it is difficult out there. But on the flip, when I tell you that good experiences are out there to be had as well, that is also true, okay? So just keep that in mind. As with the entertainment industry, sometimes, unfortunately, it's just luck and who you know that helps you get through the door. I am not the luckiest person in the world, and I do not have any golden connections either. So this has just been my experience. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be realistic I am being realistic because this is my perspective. So there you go. Now, tip number 3 is intern as much and as often as you can. This may be the easiest, if not the only opportunity you will have to land a job. It's not going to be the best paying job, but I mean, it'll get your foot through the door. Plus, you are going to learn a lot. I interned for several companies and agencies, some that I liked, some that I absolutely hated, some I was indifferent about. I was simply hungry for experience, and I was there to be a sponge for a couple of years to teach me about the industry and do all of that sort of thing. So it is very important. Intern. Number 4, and this one is super important. Be aggressive in your pitches. As a freelancer, as a creative, you need to learn to have a backbone, or baby, you will get stepped on. Absolutely. You need to be confident in your skills and in your prices. Now, it's okay to be flexible on a case-by-case basis, but never acquiesce to unreasonable requests. Case in point, I spent a lot of sleepless nights answering client emails and working on projects well beyond my posted traditional work hours, quote unquote, my work hours, simply because I felt that as a freelancer, I was easily replaceable. And that is true. But also, when you are working for a company in an office, 9 to 5, you are also easily replaceable. So there's really no winning. But people tend to take more advantage of freelancers because they think, oh, they're just sitting around in their underwear all day, just clickety-clacking on buttons and eating ice cream, right? Which we do sit around in our pajamas, in our underwear, clickety-clacking all day, eating ice cream. But we're also putting in about triple the work as someone in an office. So, damn it, if we're doing triple the work, we're allowed to sit around and have a cocktail in the middle of the day. Okay, that's just the way that it is. But set boundaries and be confident from the jump. And this is just... I can't stress this enough because as creatives, some of us, we're all emotional sensitive beings. That is, it comes with being an artist. You have to have some level of mental instability and irrational emotional control, right? You have to be over emotional in some cases to be able to be an artist, and especially an artist who dedicates their life to this pursuit. But you have to keep your sensitivity in check because people are out there, they're ready to step on you like a little ant, like a little creative little ant. So just grow a backbone, do your best to do so. Number 5, we're building on the last point. Be loyal to absolutely no one. as a freelancer. Now, there is a caveat to this one, because if you have clients who treat you well, yes, that is where you should put your loyalties, 100%. I am not over here preaching arrogance, right? Recognize that when you are being treated well, even if it may not be a job that you are completely in love with, but if you are being treated with respect and being treated well, be loyal to those clients. But as a freelancer, you do need to be cutthroat. If you are working for a client or clients who are not necessarily treating you the best and better opportunities come your way, kick those piece of garbage clients to the curb immediately. Always treat the good ones well, but never ever feel guilty about cutting loose anyone who is not fulfilling you or treating you well. I have never, ever agonized. Never in my life have I agonized over writing one of those bullshit, thanks for everything, here's my 2-week notice papers. If a business wasn't treating me well, you think I gave them a 2-week notice? I think there was one instance in which I gave a 2-week notice. The rest of them, it was basically F off. Yeah, it's just the way that it is. As a freelancer, you are a free bird. You are literally a freelancer. Look up the word of what freelancer means. You're a little soldier running around, freely doing your thing. You are a gun for hire, right? You are a free bird. You are beholden to no one. Again, I am not condoning arrogance. We don't like a big ego around here, okay? But be confident enough in yourself to say no to what is not serving you. Here's an example, and I speak from experience on this one. If a new client comes around who needs you to begin working for them immediately, they're like, hey, I really want to hire you. Can you get started in a day or two, blah, blah, blah. But you have a pain in the ass client send you an email and 6 text messages at midnight requesting 77 edits be done by 7 a.m. the next day. Pardon my language here, but we're going to say it. Fuck them. And I've done it. I said, oh, you respect me so much to email me at midnight. And you're paying me what? And then I have this new client over here who wants me to start immediately and they're going to pay me what I'm asking? Okay, well, F off. So those are my 5 tips for not only budding freelance graphic designers, but illustrators and creatives in general. Okay, this can go for anyone. Cake decorator, cupcake baker, I don't know, hairstylist, nail artist, whatever you are, okay? So moving on. Miranda asks if there are any art styles and or artists that I like. I love and hate this question because I like a lot. I really do. Art is clearly my passion. It's what I do. It's my entire life. I studied art. I, at one point, wanted to be an art historian. I wanted to teach art history and I wanted to study art history. If it weren't for the whole having to actually work for the bureaucracy that is a educational institution, I would have been working as an art historian. I would have loved to, but office politics, being told what to do, I don't do well in those environments, you know that. So I love art, and it's difficult for me to pinpoint favorites and reasons because these things tend to change. Well, not change, but my interests tend to fluctuate a bit. But on the whole, my we'll just say the word favorites have remained the same. It's been a static list since I was a wee little monster in high school, junior high, when I was first discovering art. So I break this one down into 5 different sections, or rather 4 different sections, excuse me. So my stylistic favorites, my favorites in terms of mood, chaos energy, and color. So we'll break it down into those 4 aspects. When it comes to style, Erte, Patrick Nagel, and Aubrey Beardsley tend to be the 3 figures which float above my head at all times as being my favorites. Erte is, of course, the fashion illustrator extraordinaire. I talk to him. Oh, I wish. Oh my God, somebody bring out the Ouija board. No, but I wish, please. But I speak about him and reference him fairly often. And if I don't physically speak of him, I do reference him in my work quite a bit. I love fashion, you know that. Art Deco, hello. Love all that too. And it's the sinewy lines, the stylization of the figure, the wonky anatomy, all of that is wonderful. Same with Aubrey Beardsley, who he was a leading figure in the aesthetic movement. You know, think characters such as Oscar Wilde, right? Like all of those guys, all of those weirdo romantic dark souls, right? Those wonderful people. His artwork is very dark, very graphic, very black and white. Not graphic as in murdering people and all that sort of thing, but graphic in nature with the line work, the color, all of that. So it's Patrick Nagel, or rather it's Aubrey Beardsley and Erte kind of, they tend to do a little waltz in my brain together. And if you take a look at their artwork, compare, contrast, you'll see similarities between the two, which I appreciate. Now, Patrick Nagel is entirely different. His style is, it's far more static, but it is incredibly graphic. So you take the fashion aspects with a bit of that Art Deco touch of Erte, and then you blend it with the graphic nature of Aubrey Beardsley, and you come up with Patrick Nagel. Now, Patrick Nagel's artwork does not look like Erte, nor does it look like Aubrey Beardsley, but I feel as though they all inform each other. Patrick Nagel is that quintessential 1980s kind of Art Deco revival style. Very flat colors. The figures all look a little bit femme fatale, or a little bit of darkness, even though they're all paper white, but I won't go on forever. I could, but I won't. But stylistically, Erte, Patrick Nagel, Aubrey Beardsley, love them all. Okay, moving on to mood. When it comes to mood, 3. Toulouse-Lautrec, William Blake, Francis Bacon. Toulouse-Lautrec is an incredible human being, just a little rich boy with physical problems who was cavorting with prostitutes, cabaret dancers, and amazing people in France back in the day. Drinking absinthe, hanging out at the dance halls, just, come on, the life, right? His artwork is so expressive, so beautiful. It's just so, he's an artist's artist. He used a lot of rough materials, cardboards, grease crayons, chalk, charcoal, all of those sorts of really tactile art materials that give his artwork not only a very kinetic look, but an incredibly painterly, very present look, which I appreciate. William Blake, his artwork is very illustrative and dark, physically dark. A lot of his work has religious and mythological themes to it, but when you look at it, it doesn't make you feel happy and hopeful as you would be, you know, being a peasant walking into a cathedral and being amazed by the beautiful stained glass. No, you look at his artwork and you go, is that angel actually a demon? Is that thing actually gonna flap its little wings over here and rip my heart out? Like, what's going on here? Why? Well, I like it, hallelujah, but get away from me. That's the feeling I get from William Blake. He's did I say blank? Excuse me. William Blake. He is a brilliant artist. His artwork is incredibly atmospheric, and it is a unique take on mythology and religion. Francis Bacon is just, his artwork is just disturbing. It is, talk about disturbing religious imagery. This man, his brain, when I tell you that we artists have to be a little bit, that's me banging on my cranium over here, we got to be a little off, right? And Francis Bacon is a good example of that. I have never seen artwork physically in person that I had such a visceral reaction to. It was actually kind of breathtaking to see it. It is disturbing. It is incredible. And I want one of those popes that he paints in my bathroom, or at least in my hallway, so that when I get up at 2 a.m. and I need to tinkle, or I need to head to the fridge to get water, I forget that the thing is there, and I want it to cause a mild panic attack when I see it, because that's just the way I enjoy myself. So next, chaos energy, because I'm a manic hamster, as you know, so I appreciate color, I appreciate splatter, I appreciate chaos. Now, inner chaos, not necessarily outward chaos, because there's a lot going on in my brain at all times, but I don't live in chaos. Does that make sense? I keep the chaos contained. Jean-Michel Basquiat is the king of chaos energy for me. His artwork, again, kinetic, bright, beautiful, bold, incredible, amazing. And when you look at my work, I use a lot of flat color. I do the bloody watercolor thing as well, but I'm speaking specifically about my paintings and my marker work. I tend to lay down flat color. Think of Patrick Nagel, yeah? Flat color. But then on top of that, I go to town with my inking pens and I do scribbles and scratches and hatch marks and all that sort of thing. That is my take on chaos energy. See? Jean-Michel Basquiat needs no introduction. If you have no idea who he is, look up his artwork. It is beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. Jean-Michel, you are incredible. R.I.P. Next, color. The king, queen, creature supreme himself, Ms. Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was a master of everything. A master of screen printing, a master of illustration, a master of media manipulation. The guy is incredible. One of my obsessions for sure. He's a shy, unassuming little mouse of a man, but he created this otherworldly persona for himself, and it worked, right? He started as an illustrator, as a fashion illustrator, and a commercial fashion illustrator, mind you, painting, or rather drawing shoes and such. And then he moved into this bombastic pop artist. I love pop art. Some people love it, some people hate it. Oh, it's not real art. Well, no, it is, because it takes skill to screen print. That's an argument that my little art history brain I will die on that hill. But his mastery of color is incredible. And he uses a lot of flat color. Hello, Patrick Nagel again. Flat graphic color, bright, bold, eye-catching, and also a little bit disturbing. There's a little bit of that chaos energy in there. And, he did a little of everything. He threw legendary parties at his factory. This was back in the drug-addled disco days. He was an amateur pornographer. Is there anything this man didn't do, right? So that's Warhol for you. Love him. There you go. So, just to recap, style, mood, chaos, and color. Those are my four points of interest when it comes to art. Now, are there any contemporaries that I appreciate? And the answer to that is always no. And there's a couple of reasons for that. It is not because I think I'm the best thing since sliced bread and I'm the most talented and I don't need anybody to inspire me. No, it's simply that as someone who is obsessed with the past, I take my inspiration from the past. These days, as you all know, I am far too damn busy and too self-absorbed in my own projects to spend any of my time researching other people. Every minute that would be spent being nosy on social media, looking at other artists, reading articles, doing all this, that's all precious time that I could be drawing, planning, designing, etc., etc. I am self-funded. I support myself. Basically, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be poking around on the internet. So that's reason number one. And number two, being inspired by contemporaries, while in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, it will eventually subconsciously cause one's own art and processes to begin taking on the qualities of our peers, of those people that I'm looking at. And this is why so many artists on social media look very similar. Admiring contemporaries tends to breed homogeny as far as I'm concerned. And what I mean by breed homogeny is that if you start taking inspiration from this person, and this person who are popular, quote unquote, on the internet, well, you are not the only one who's pulling inspiration from these individuals. Many people are. So then everyone's art starts to look the same, begins to look homogeneous. See? My art is not technically perfect, and it is certainly not as pretty as other people's, and that's totally fine. I can at least sleep at night knowing that I have not compromised my own artistic visions, blips, and quirks. There will always be someone more talented and more successful than me, than you, and that's fine. I enjoy supporting others when I can, but I only enjoy being my own competition. Does that make sense? All right, so that is going to do it for today's video. A little bit of an abrupt ending, right? We don't really do subtle, nice transitions and outros here. It's just, okay, I'm done. Thank you to everyone for watching. I hope that you took something from this video, even if it's just entertainment. Great, it was fun hanging out with you. But if you took some advice that you can apply to your own life, great. Maybe you were inspired to look up some artists that you've never heard of. Great. Whatever it is, thank you so much for being here. To my subscribers, to my Patreon patrons, mwah, a big fat juicy one of those. Brooke, Miranda, thank you for your questions, my darlings. I am taking off now. Be bad, be good. Did you hear that squawk? Wow, so that was odd. Not sure how well you could hear that on camera, but there was some sort of bizarro animalistic screech coming from outside. I mean, it could have very well been one of my harpy brethren. I don't know, but I had to step away because, of course, the resident gremlin decided to bark his brains out for a few minutes while he investigated. So anyway, we are back to end this video. Thank you once again for watching if I did not already say that. Take a look down below. Everything you need to know will be down below as always. Did I say that already too? Ugh, I'm out of here. Be bad, be good. I do not give a damn which. Just make sure you come back in one piece, and I will see you in the next one.